time for the visit with the person of high strangeness. It's my new buzzer, you see. Hopefully the daylight will stay with us. Tina and I went on the road here. Did I say it's a visit with the person of high strangeness?
Yes, you did.
I did. It's number 14 in the series Roadrunner, and this is our wind-up. So Tina dropped in since she doesn't live here, and so we're trying to do the very best that we can under the circumstances with the light behind us here. This is Miss E.T. This is Tina. Hi, Tina.
Hello, how are you?
You never do anything easy, do you?
No, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I'm learning.
Yeah, so we don't have to talk loud because we don't have a.
Okay, no problem.
We don't have a. What am I looking for? A microphone. Microphone, yeah. The other thing we have a problem with is some of my staples are on the move in my side, my stomach, and so every once in a while if I holler.
I didn't do it.
No, she didn't do it. She didn't do it. But every once in a while if I holler, like, ah! That's what that is. But I'm sure by the time you see that, the whole crisis is over. Not only are you my friend, you were also a sponsor this time.
Yes, I enjoyed it.
You a sponsor. You know what a sponsor is?
Yeah, someone that donates their time or donates something to help the show out.
Gas.
Gas. In my case, it was gas
Your
this
gas.
time.
So
Yeah.
it was the first time one of the sponsors ever got to go.
That's nice, but I got something out of it too. I learned a lot out of this trip.
Yeah.
So it's not only did I sponsor, but I got something too.
That's something, yeah. Now, if you go back in time for a moment, do you remember why, what the underlying reason was to go on this trip?
Oh yeah, I remember. One, it was to show everybody else what you can't see on the back roads. And I think the lesson for me was you were trying to help me out as a friend to show me what life could be as when I'm not so busy with other problems. It showed me what reality really was. It showed me when you take yourself away from it and look at the bigger picture, you could see it all. But if you choose to go back to it, that's on you.
Now, would you happen to have a lighter in your pocket?
No.
Only thing we don't have, or we can't move. So what do I do? What do I do?
Figure it out.
There's no lighter. Do you got a lighter under there, E.T.?
She's probably sitting on one.
Let's see. She's like,
She doesn't have a lighter.
no, you don't
under
have
her.
a lighter. Sorry, honey.
Okay, I know what we're gonna do. If you get up real carefully
Okay.
and locate a lighter and come back to this point, I'll talk to you about something while
Sounds
she's
good.
doing that. How's that?
Sounds really good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There you go. There she goes. Excuse me. The actual trip took place in 2006. I believe, I'm not sure at this point, but I believe by the time you look at this, it's going to be 2007, because this whole year had been so hectic, and we've had so many travel shows. Are you looking for a lighter? Oh,
Got
she
one.
has one. Oh,
Found
goody,
one.
goody. And the thing is where we had taken you so many places, and so we didn't think it was up to California, so close behind, you know, the 19 weeks of armchair travel life. And we named this show Roadrunner.
Roadrunner. That's a good idea because we went all over the roads.
We did, didn't we?
Chasing this sign and that sign because the weather stopped us from going a certain way,
Yeah.
which the universe put us back on track. We made what we needed to do. We got there in time and got home in time.
We had a certain, this is a recap, you know, as you know. So we had a certain thing in mind to do, and then you brought up the weather. Do you remember the first thing that detoured us?
Yes, it was 395 and it was a snowstorm.
Snowstorm.
And it was a freak snowstorm because if you guys look back at the news, it wasn't even on the news. We checked with this every night we stopped.
Yeah.
Something told her, so then she did some more research and we had to make a detour. But in that detour we found other cool stuff.
Cool stuff.
Yes, we did.
One of the things I wanted to do was Let's talk about Bend first. Let's kind of go down the line.
Oh, okay, we're gonna go back to Bend. This is gonna
Bend,
be hard,
Oregon,
guys.
yeah.
This is gonna be really hard. Okay, so we start our morning early in the morning. We decide to go at 2, even though the universe told her no, you gotta leave at a certain time.
4.
4 o'clock. We decided, oh, we'll put a couple hours behind us anyways. So we journeyed at 2. You know, I was here late, so we just decided if we go to sleep, then we're not going to wake up, and we still had a trip to make, a destination and a time. We went a back road, and then finally we asked a police officer that was back there how to get to, where was it? Where was that little town, Lilian?
Toledo.
Toledo. And he sent us back to the house, so something kept on sending us back here. We finally got on the right track at 4 o'clock in the morning.
At 4 o'clock, yeah.
So all of this time from 2 on, we're driving. We go through some windy roads.
Yeah.
And then we see some people, you know, jumping in front of us or harassing us on the road. When we finally get to Bend to find a place to sleep, nobody gave us a place to sleep.
Oh, yeah.
And then the food, we went to a fish house because we figured, okay, treat ourselves to a good meal. You know, we deserve that driving. Let's start this trip out right. And I had a problem with this restaurant. It was McGraw's Fish House. Well, when we went into this place, and I actually got a story to tell you about last night, I was at the same restaurant, had totally different service, which was here in Washington, not in Oregon.
Oregon, yeah.
Yes. We get there, we're ordering nice meals. We're not dressed the nicest, but we're road tripping. Who wants to be pretty for a road trip,
Yeah.
right? You want to be comfortable. And people are supposed to still be servant to you, because if you're paying them, they're supposed to serve you. So we go in there and I ask for a bottle of hot sauce. I asked the lady 3 times for
Yeah.
hot sauce. And I asked nicely, and I was still tired. And finally, I had to get up and get it myself, which upset me. And I came to the table and I told my friend Lilian, which I consider family, Lilian, and my Aunt Lilian, that I was upset and I wanted to talk to the manager. And Lilian didn't want to cause a problem at the time. We were both tired. We were just going to be passing through, eating. We needed rest. So when she said this, it kind of hurt my feelings at first. And then I thought, okay, never mind. You know, I'll pay for the food and do the right thing. But I didn't leave a tip because I don't believe that she waited on us. We were in the restaurant before anybody else. And she took care of some other people that looked nicer, looked like there was going to be a bigger tip. Just goes to show you, don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
Then we left there. We went to a hotel that we had stopped at maybe 20, 30 minutes beforehand and asked them about their room rates.
Yeah.
Where Lilian went in and she took care of this. And the lady quoted her at $55
Yeah.
at first. And then, so we left and we told her we'd be back. We just need some food in us. We can get some energy and then go into the room and
Yeah.
start transferring our film. We get back there and Lilian goes inside and the lady quotes her at $10 extra after she had just told her. So then when Lilian came
And
out,
Lilian lost it.
Lilian was lost it, which made me laugh, not
Yeah.
at her, but at
Yeah.
just the situation. When she was upset, I could be the happy one. When I was
Yeah.
upset, which was most of the time, she was the one in control.
We arrived at the conclusion that Bend, Oregon was named Bend because the people were not flexible at all, yeah. So then anyway, we leave Bend, here comes the snow. But one of the things I wanted to do was a stop where the volcanoes, where the earth is rising,
Mm-hmm. The fault
and
line.
the fault line.
Mm-hmm.
And we asked everybody in the area, do you know where the fault line is? But no, nobody knew anything.
Not even the owners of the restaurant that we went in to eat.
Yeah, and so we asked the people at the restaurant, where's the fault line? They had no clue. And guess where we found it?
In their backyard, and because she did some research on the menu.
It was on the menu, can you believe it?
Yep.
Yeah, so we did accomplish that. We're going to put some inserts in here so you can kind of refresh your memory what it is we're talking about. By going around the snowstorm, it took us into Nevada.
Mm-hmm. We went into Nevada.
We were happy.
We were very happy. We found smoking restaurants.
Smoking restaurant.
Really good food for inexpensive. And for,
Yeah.
like I said, judging a book by its cover, the little hotel or motel we stayed at didn't look like much on the inside, on the outside, but it was very, very clean on the inside. And the service was excellent.
Yeah, so then we made our little trip through Nevada, and we asked the sheriff how to get back to 395.
Yes, we did.
And do you remember what he said?
Don't go 395. There's storms, and And then one other thing.
No, he's the guy that wanted to send us over the 10,000.
Oh, yeah. He wanted to send us over the big mountain. I forgot, because we
Yeah.
had 2 sheriff incidents.
Yeah. And then it turned out, it only took a second, we realized that we was in a government area.
Oh, yeah, the Men in Black scene.
Yeah.
We were the only cars out there for many, many miles, and then a silver, it looked like maybe some form of an SUV with no license plate, nothing, all the windows were tinted, started following us.
Mhm.
And as he started following us, we're driving along, and I'm doing the camera, we notice out to the left, and all the water's clear except for one little bubbly spot.
That was Mono Lake when we eventually got out of the area, which by the way had like cameras for every
Yep, and there was,
300 feet.
you
know.
could see them over there, and they'd move
Yeah.
and stuff like that, you know, and then she was telling me what it was, and so I started paying more attention.
Yeah.
And we went over this, it felt like a hollow in the ground, like
Yeah.
a metal grate or something, but it
Yeah.
wasn't on the road. And then you look to the left and you see all the bubbling in the water. And so we kept on driving as I was trying to film it, but we really wanted to get away from the guy behind us.
So the guy from the Men in Black and Silver cars.
And we had our press stickers at this
We
time,
did,
didn't we? We had
yeah.
our press stickers, so we really wanted to get out of there.
Yeah, a lady had, to remind you, the Toyota had just fell out of the sky for me.
Mhm.
And you didn't even know I had it till
Nope.
you got here.
I was stressing that because a spouse of mine was being a little difficult.
Yeah, and so, but he didn't know we had alternative
Motorportation.
transportation either. Yeah, well anyway, so then we didn't have a press sticker on it, and I had sent my portable one home with Claudia. And so a nice lady made us press stickers.
Yes, she did.
So we in this government area,
Mhm.
and they following us and they're taking our picture, and then that's when you spotted
The bubbly stuff on the left-hand side of the
weird
water.
stuff in Mono Lake, for those of you that's familiar with that.
And I don't know a whole lot about nature, just what I can actually see every single day. But I seen the bubbles in the water, and that's not normal.
It wasn't normal, no. So we had that. Then we got back on 395, and beautiful mountain. You like the mountain, huh?
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh yeah, well, but the desert was flooded.
It was flooded. We've got water on both sides of us flooded.
I'm gonna insert that part where it looks like we couldn't tell if we was gonna
The
drive.
heat, or was it
Or
water?
was it water? And it looked like we was gonna drive into the water.
Yep. So a lot along the way, there was a lot of flooding, and then there's a lot of heat, so you really had to be careful.
Yeah. And so then eventually, we wanted to, we wanted to go to Victorville, California, which 395 took us, eventually took us there. Then we went into the earthquake site. Do you remember where they
Where
had
the
buried
people-
the earthquake? Yeah.
Yeah, and you gave.
And then you saw something
I
there.
seen the little, it looked like those old metal, like wrapped around graves from way back in the day that you see off of old
Yeah.
movies and stuff. And we even went back there a couple times because we wanted to get it on film. I know I wasn't crazy,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And
Yep. Go ahead.
then of course she went and she did a prayer by where they were supposed to be
Yeah.
buried and whatnot, but we still couldn't find that place that I seen.
So in the meantime, unknown to us, there were earthquakes everywhere. I'm not talking about the ones on the back coming back. I'm talking about the ones going down. Bishop, was it Bishop?
It was Bishop.
We left there. Bishop had an earthquake. Bear Lake had earthquakes. So we just dodging those earthquakes all the way down, and somebody told us to gas up in Nevada because
Nevada.
the gas was going to jump by $1, and it did.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
I think the highest. This is in April now. I think we paid $4.12 at one time.
Yes, we did. No, actually, in one place, remember, it was $4.23.
Four.
In California.
Repeat.
$4.23.
April 2006. $4.
It was $4.23 in California.
$4.23. Yeah, that's what we paid.
And then speaking of Bishop, I remember us traveling down that road after we left the Men in Black area,
Yeah.
and we were thinking, we're losing light, are we going to make it? And it was 162 miles, I remember. And on the film of our trip, it was still the same, 162 miles. We were worried about were we going to find a place before dark and everything else so we can get up and start our trip again early in the morning. And remember, it went from 162 miles to 99 miles. Do you remember this?
Oh yeah.
Our time warp, and I couldn't believe it. And I was like, how? When the sign just said, because we were paying attention, how
Yeah.
many more miles to our next stop?
That's right. It was also on the way down when the truck ran through us.
Yes, it was. And the a friend was in the back, just put it that way. She can say his name correct, I can't. I think he saved us.
A green truck. For whatever reason, Tina had her whole body turned this way, filming something.
Mm-hmm.
And here, this green truck on Highway 20, I believe it was.
It was, because it was down and
It
around
left
that
the lane, and okay, if this is the car, Tina is on this side of the car, I'm here. The truck left the lane and drove right through us, this way. And she turns around and she said, what was that from?
Yeah, what was that?
What
Because I
was that
felt
from?
something, but I just didn't see it, but you could feel it. You
Yeah.
really could feel it, and then she's like, no, I'm not going to tell you right now,
Yeah.
because she didn't want to scare me or upset me on this trip. So she waited, and she had to figure out what just happened herself.
Yeah, I just couldn't figure it out. But that, we jumping back and forth a little bit, that wasn't the only time we had stuff running through the car.
No.
Let's go to the end of the trip and
The Dachshund, the little wiener dog. We were driving through,
Centralia.
Centralia, actually. We were going through Centralia, and you know how she likes to take the back roads, so we were going through town, and we were figuring out one more road, because a lot of people gave us different directions on how to get one place. So we decided to go that way, and there was a lady running along the side of the car chasing her Dachshund, which is like one of those wiener dogs. It hit the front side of Lilian's tire, being the driver's side, and we felt the thump, and I screamed, and the lady screamed.
Anything.
Well, she didn't feel it. I felt it. I screamed. I pointed, and you could see the dog running that way, and Lilian was worried she was going to stop and see that the dog was okay. And I said, no, look, the dog's okay. The lady's still chasing it. It's fine.
Dog ran right through the car.
Yep. And it was a small dog.
Yeah, we had stuff running. We met some really interesting young people in El Capitan, remember?
Grunge people. Yeah, we met some
Yeah.
grunge. No, goth. Sorry, goth.
Goth, yeah.
Gothic people. Really
Yeah.
cool artists.
Yeah, we showed you some of their work and we'll probably overlay it again. So there was, we didn't really meet a whole lot of people for quite a while.
But do you remember that strange gentleman that everybody in the town kind of looked a little off? It was out in the middle of nowhere, and he had hair on his nose up to here. And he came out of nowhere and started talking to you about the planes and everything else, because remember you seen some fighter jets going by. And so he starts talking to you about it. And then you guys go in the store because you're getting us some different type of music to listen to. And then you came out, and I was like, wow, he kind of looked strange. I asked you, and you said you found out some interesting things from him. But I think the most information we got was from Dave. Actually, I got to give you his number because he called me just recently ago.
Yeah.
The one where the ranch that we didn't get to go see the museum.
Yeah, okay, that's where we're going. One of the highlights, one of the high points for you viewers we wanted to do is go to the Stripper
Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame. And well, when we got there, the lady was ill.
Yeah, she was ill.
And the gentleman had died. Now, it is my understanding that the full museum, the contents of the museum, went to Vegas.
Yep, they were moving it to Vegas.
So please, when you go to Vegas, have a look at that, because I'm sure it would have just been a lot of fun, no?
But in the meantime, we met a gentleman when we went for Arabic food.
Arabic food. One of the
weird.
reasons why we went to get Arabic food is because here again, California, you can't smoke anywhere. And we wanted to have what do you call it?
A hookah, Arabic tobacco.
A hookah. So we figured, well, if they sell hookahs, we're going to sit in here. They made us hookah
Outside.
They had a nice table, and we're out there smoking the pipe there. And here come this gentleman, so you pick it up.
Out of
from
nowhere,
here.
too.
Yeah.
And he was going to eat, what did he say, Mexican food that night.
Mexican food,
He was going to pick up Mexican and go to the park, and something told him to stop and get Arabic food, and you two hit it off. Thank you, I appreciate that. I didn't want to have to get back up.
Yeah. Arab food. He left the wife in the park.
And he had some strange experiences, too. And
Besides that, he knew everybody at the museum.
yes, he did. That's another bonus.
Yeah, so he was going to see if he could, that night, if he could, they would allow him to go in and show to us anyway, but that didn't work out. But we tried.
We did. And
Yeah.
by the way, like I said, he called. He wanted you to call him, so I'll give you his number.
I'll do that, yeah. And so,
Remember he said he had property somewhere else where you had been before. A lot of land. It's Midwest, I'm trying to think. Midwest. Remember he invited you out there. He's got lots of land if you ever travel in that way to park on his property. to do sightings and stuff.
You know,
Can't
I
remember
can't
where.
remember right offhand.
But he did. He invited you out there.
But the other thing we didn't realize is that Victorville is on Route 66.
That's true, and we got footage of that.
Good footage there. And one of my favorite things in actual Victorville was the shoe store.
Yes.
Oh,
You got what, 12
shoes.
pairs of shoes for $102 or something? 12 and name brand shoes, not
Name brand
used.
shoes, yeah.
I got a few myself too.
And we asked him if he mail orders, and he said no. But before it was all said and done, we convinced him, so I'm going to show you the address. I'm going to show you the address and phone number. Please write it down, and he will mail order it to you. Cool, huh?
Very cool. We met some interesting people at the motel we stayed at as well when we were in Victorville.
Yeah.
And she actually did some work on the road, not thinking she was going to do some work, but she actually helped somebody else out. And like I said, maybe those favors, well, actually the favor will come back. Because the lady said if you're ever at the Motel 6s again traveling, to look her up and she'll help you out. So it doesn't hurt to do somebody a favor.
Yeah.
It always comes back. It's karma.
Yeah, she is, I don't know, by the time this airs, this might have maybe in place, but she was trying to have Motel 6 sponsor us occasionally. So I don't know if that worked out or not at this time, but at the time of the taping, we're still in the process of doing that. One of the things I did, she couldn't go, but I went to the prison to get an update on her mom. At that time, he had the internal bleeding and couldn't get any medical help. By the time I got there, Senator Boxer had been involved, and they finally got him medical help. I got there, and of course the guards know who I was, and I was famous there by that time. So as I got ready to leave, now when you go to a federal installation like that, you are not allowed to take cameras or just anything at all. And I know that, so I left it with you.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got ready to go, here come several guards, just kind of zeroed in on me, and they said, doing a documentary, are we? And I said, I could have sworn I turned that phone off. Documentary, are we? And I said, yeah. And so I knew what they were after.
Mm-hmm.
So I told them, yeah, we had filmed this and this and this, but what they wanted to know was I filming. So they searched my car.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? Nothing.
So they wasted their time. But it also goes to show, like what she was saying about Omar not getting his medical treatment. If you turn your back and don't think that there's something you could do about it, there's always something you could do. Don't give up. And she didn't give up. We traveled clear across country.
Yeah, in the meantime, he got better, and so we did that. Then when we came back from the museum there, we stopped at I think they called it the Antique Mall.
Yeah.
Remember the man had built this long mall?
Yep.
In
I do
8
remember.
years. Mm-hmm.
When we were coming back the back road. And then you were like,
loud.
just jumped out, and it was all boarded up, but when you walk around, you could see all the pretty stuff you made.
Yeah, just a lot of stuff. So we've shown you that.
Fun at the ghost town. I had a lot of fun at the ghost town with them.
Well, let's talk about the guys first. The guys on the bike. We have now left Victorville. We've done everything we're going to do, and we are on the way back. And the first stop where we pulled over a little bit and stopped was just the guys on the bike.
Yep, Burger King. We wanted some breakfast before we went and a cup of coffee for the road. And they were sitting out there on these 2 bicycles with a sign that said, for every soldier that dies, we're going to ride another mile. And they look like they've been riding for some time. Trust me. And then Lilian, of course, asked could she film, what they were doing, and talk to them for a minute. And she offered to buy them a cup of coffee, which was nice. They needed the coffee, and we got them she got them some sandwiches, which made their day. And gave them some potatoes, too, so they can do it with hot water.
Hot water, yeah.
And instant potatoes, so they were very appreciative.
I just thought it was wonderful that, and I believe the guy said it was on one of our shows. I'll see if we can show it to you. I think they went 16,000 miles.
Yes, they did, 16,000 miles.
On bicycles, can you believe that?
That's nuts. Yeah, well, their tire tread, you could tell they had been out there for a while. Their skin was really, really dark, like they've been in the desert forever.
And then we end up at the ghost town. yeah.
Yeah, the ghost town was fun. I thought so because like we got to see how the old days went, and it's still running actually. And we met an older couple, a man and a woman there, that have been together. Well, gosh,
50-some years.
50-something years.
We're still in touch. Yeah.
That's a good thing. And they ended up trying to buy some. Well, no, they did. They bought us some ice cream.
The Frenches. Yeah.
They're very nice.
Let's do a half point here. So when we left here, what did you have in mind?
For this trip? Okay, well, I've had some weird experiences happen to me, you know, and this is the wise one for me anyways, and I don't know how to explain it. She's tried to work with me on it, but since I'm here with all my stress, it's hard for her to do anything for me, really. You gotta want to help yourself and separate yourself. So I figured this trip I'd get to see back roads, spend some time with her, and learn about the abilities that I have, and just take a better look at life and maybe come back, and things will be different. Well, they were for a little bit, but then I chose to go back in that path again, so therefore I'm stuck again. But I'm still working on it.
So yeah, so we remind you, we at half point we're still at the ghost town,
Mhm.
and where I was going with that is, I think by that time, one of the things you said to me, you thought that some people would be receptive,
Yes.
but then it turned out almost everybody was receptive.
Well, see, when we first went out on the trip too, I was thinking, well, okay, it's kind of strange, you know, I believe in my Aunt Lilian because she's on it with all her cards and her predictions and stuff, but I thought people would treat us a little bit different with her press stickers and just her being so open about who she's going to be. But actually people invited us more whenever she would be who she was going to be.
Yeah.
And so I learned from that lesson that just because you find that somebody's going to think it's strange or weird, it's not really. You got to actually experience it. Like the guy that we met at the Arabic restaurant, he looked like the type of person to me, remember I told you,
Yeah.
that would think, oh, crazy, weird, and make fun of it. But him and her talked for like an hour and a half before he went back to his wife and kid with the food because she had so
everything,
much.
yeah.
She had so much interesting knowledge, and they were bouncing off of each other. Questions that he needed answered right off the bat. He got
Yeah.
just for conversation with
yeah.
you.
So that was one of the things that I remember you mentioning that you were surprised how many people were out there that thought the same way.
Yeah, I was very, very surprised. And they come in all shapes, colors, and sizes. Trust in that.
Yeah.
The guy in the ghost town, remember? The old Native American.
Yeah.
He used to work for the government. He was in the war and everything else.
Yeah,
And then he got hurt.
Yeah.
And so he was medically discharged. But he didn't get anything for the longest time. And he thought his luck was bad. He moved up there, started getting more in tune with himself. And now he's working, making more money for a security company. And they've got him taken care of benefit-wise.
Yeah. So there's people out there just wanted to talk, and if you give people half of a chance, they'll actually approach you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, look like we must have turned back time or something because the sun's coming out again.
It's given us time. It's
Yeah.
given us time. That's good.
We went to Reno.
Yeah, the big little city. It was kind of busy though.
It was busy. Yeah, we went to Reno, and here again we were able to smoke, so that was pretty okay. Now unknown to us.
One lady tried to give us an issue, and she like questioned
Talk
in
about-
Reno. In Reno, one lady, we stopped at a restaurant right as we were leaving Reno to get some food, and she let me play on the casino machines to relax before we went.
Oh, I
you know?
didn't let her. She just did.
Okay, fine. I just did. She actually sat there eating her food, was I over there
Yeah.
losing my money. But the lady came over, and Lilian normally when we went, well actually every time we went into a restaurant or a place that she wanted to film, she asked the management for permission.
Oh yeah, but there was a casino though.
Yes, but remember the other lady said it was okay at the casino at the first place that we went to in
Yeah.
Nevada with the Native American women that were talking to.
Yeah.
But the next time, it was an older blonde lady that looked like she was a retired prison officer or something.
Yeah.
And she came over and she was asking Lilian all these questions, like picking her apart. And of course she had every answer because she was being straight and true with what her intentions were. And then finally, after all said and done, she got to film.
Yeah.
But that just goes to show you, not everybody's flexible.
But you know what's so wonderful about this whole thing, by you telling this, is because this is really the first time a sponsor ever went with me.
I had fun.
And so when you help us do these things, would you say you really get your money's worth?
Oh yeah, you get your money's worth and then some. You learn some lessons even after the trip is done.
Yeah, because it's costly to do something like that, and most of the sponsors don't get to go. They don't have the time, but they don't want to. And I give them a tape, and they say, "Oh, that's nice." So it was nice for me to be able to include you in that.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah, aside from the personal aspect of your experiences there, but from a sponsor's angle, how it was insane. Oh God, it was insane. So back to what I was saying. Unknown to us, we knew Highway 30. Oh, when we were where the highway was closed, 395.
Okay.
We didn't know where we were. We pulled over.
Mhm.
We pulled over to look at the map.
Yep.
And you remember?
That's when the officer pulled
The
up.
police officer.
He was asking, "Are we okay? Are we okay?" And I was getting nervous and scared because I was thinking,
Yeah.
"Oh God, we're gonna be in trouble because we're sitting on the side of the road."
In the middle of nowhere, and I said to him, "Can I get out?" And he said, "Oh, why wouldn't you?"
Yeah.
And I said, "We from Seattle, we get out, we get shot."
Shot. Yeah, that's right. And he was actually a lot of help.
Yeah.
And he said we could actually follow him down 395
Yeah.
because he was going towards Bishop.
Yeah. And so anyway, so that was the end of the line for us on the route we originally wanted to take. So on the way back, what we didn't realize was that not only had there been a snowstorm, the roads had collapsed, and we showed you that. We took it to that whole park where the mountain came
All
down.
the
It
rocks were coming down. Yep.
Yeah, and so we had no clue that we got around all of that.
We missed all of it. It just seems like every natural circumstance that
Yeah.
could have happened to us to throw us off, we missed it. And I'll be honest with the viewers, I wasn't very happy when we had to go around, but when I thought about the circumstances after the fact, I was thankful she didn't listen to anything I said.
Yeah, we called people in Olympia, and they said, "Well, it'll take you what 600 miles out of the road," but it wasn't.
It did.
In fact, I think we went a total of 42 miles more than someone.
It did, but it
Yeah.
taught me patience too. A little bit more patience. Still working on it.
Some of the most beautiful footage you have seen was last week. I think it was last week. When we accidentally drove to Warm Spring Indian Reservation.
hmm
Have you had a chance to review the footage?
No, I haven't. I go through it in my head. I haven't had a VCR yet.
When the sun came up, I was blind. I couldn't see anything. As you heard on the tape, she kept me on the highway. But I would think that was probably the most. It was awesome footage.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Oh man! And then of course we accidentally went to where we wanted to be. And if people tell you have to go to Kalama Falls, they're lying.
Yeah, they are. We learned a lot of things about directions. Go with what you feel and really look at it yourself.
Yeah.
Really? Because
Even
that's-
myself, a couple of times I said, I don't think we want to go that way.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Listen to your inner self. If your inner self is talking to you, listen to it. Because I remember I was like, but those truck drivers said that was clear. And then finally when we got down the road, we found out it wasn't clear. We would have been stuck. And our mission, what, it took longer or it wouldn't have gotten completed.
And no matter which way we went, all signs went to Kalama Falls.
Mhm.
But we didn't want to go the way you had been on that road before.
Yes, I had. Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to go that way. You can just go totally around Kalama Falls.
Yeah, there's a detour. Remember, we found a side road and went straight around it.
Yeah. So when it was, well, we can jump back and forth here. It would be easier if we went right down the line because I have to pull all these clips off of there.
It's my fault because I haven't watched the tapes, but I do have a memory. I just can't go word from word. But we could, if you guys don't mind, it's me. I'm new at interviews and like filming. I was new at it.
Let's talk about that. If you're okay with that.
No, yeah, that's fine. No. I'm open.
Eventually, where you left, I didn't hear from you for a long time.
Yes.
Eventually, I was under the impression that you were displeased with me.
No, I wasn't displeased with you.
It was a reality check.
But I lost my thought.
Displeased with you.
It had to do with, I just lost it just that quick. What happens is sometimes when we do things, that's what I'm going with it. Sometimes when we do things like that, things make no sense.
Mm-hmm.
And what you allowed me, I know where I was at.
Okay.
I think part of me thinking you felt that way,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize it till I watched the footage.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things we had done,
Mm-hmm.
we had shown the viewers how to work a camera.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so by me talking you know, don't do this or this to this, and when I viewed it, I realized it wasn't really about you, because we had agreed to show you
Yeah.
how to give me footage.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe somewhere we forgot that. Would you agree?
Maybe, yeah, I would agree. Plus, Lilian, you like to do things right. And you like it to be good for, yes you do like to do things right. And what I mean by right is if you give somebody advice, you know that it's true and fact. You want it done just to the T. You're somewhat of a perfectionist. Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
I worked very hard at being imperfect. But the footage was laying there dormant for months.
Mm-hmm.
When I looked at it, I realized that on the very first show, we said, now, we're going to show you how to film.
Mm-hmm.
And talk you, through you, talk everybody through there how to use the camera.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, in case you forgot, when you got to, 14? When you got to 5 or 6, just remember, I mean, it was perfect. Click, click, click.
Yeah?
I'm sorry you haven't seen it. It is
I'm gonna.
wonderful.
I got time. I can watch on your VCR.
Yeah, it's just wonderful. I'm telling you. And so therefore, see, everybody sends footage.
And also,
And then I can't use it.
And not only that, and I don't mind that we're on camera or whatever, but I guess it's hard to face reality sometimes. When I got home, certain things that we had discussed on the trip, I was seeing all come true. And even though I didn't want it to be, it was. And so I just needed to take a step back from everybody and try and figure out how am I going to get myself back on track to where I was on that trip, because everything was there. I knew all the answers right then and there. It's like we didn't need to even talk about a lot of stuff on the trip, and it would happen. You know what I mean? Like in sync. And then when I got back, and I figured, I'm back to reality, I do apologize. But I was not upset with you. No.
I thought
I
she
just
was
needed
upset.
to-
She
no.
just dropped off the face of the earth, she did.
Yeah, but if you knew my life, you...
Maybe you should have stayed gone, huh?
No, I should have. No, I should have. And like, okay, as much as I complained on that trip to you and made negative, like, vibes to you, which I apologize for once again, like I did at the end of our trip.
You did have to.
But it was because every time my phone would ring, negative outside energy, you know? Every time I pick up that phone, you really don't know how good you got it until you're away from everything.
Yeah.
And you don't have to deal with anything. Life is pretty slow and everything else, but it works better. Trust me.
Which brings up, I thank you for being so personal
No,
about that.
no. I thought this was an interview. Personal.
Yeah, which brings up another point. In the meantime, my granddaughter, you've already seen that. Yeah, go ahead. My granddaughter Ebony, we did the show, the etheric journey. And at the end of the show, I asked her, was it anything she expected? And she said no. And then she explained that, excuse me, what she expected and what it was two different things. Which I was happy she did that. When we go on journeys, there is a difference between a trip and a journey. When you are on a journey, you are in the now. And when we can allow ourselves to stay in the now and experience the most fantastic things. Things in the sky, weather, you dodge, weather, all kinds of different things. And then when you stop and think about that, you go back to the hustle and bustle of your everyday life that you think is so enormous and so important. Mm-hmm. And then we forget these wonderful places and we just left, and the experiences we had. Ebony and I, the other day, we was coming down 93rd Avenue. We saw something in the sky. We were close to the airport. We thought it had landed. Well, it didn't land. now 93rd Avenue is straight. I mean straight, not a kink in it. Straight, like that road we were on,
Yeah.
just straight. So anything coming at you, you would have seen it a half a mile away. Anything passing you, you would have seen it in a rear view mirror a half a mile away. All of a sudden, here is what appears a flying car. And it was right up on us, and very much like their truck, right?
Mhm.
And there it was. We didn't have to, our brain couldn't compute what we were looking at. It was square, and it had lights. Instead of headlights, it had lights all the way, or not all the way back, but pretty much towards the middle of it. And there it was diving at us. It went almost through, not through us, but it was so close. It couldn't have been a car, because we didn't hear an engine, we didn't see it coming, and we didn't see it going. And then we talked about the stresses of everyday life. And when you're in a position that you are allowed, see, we are allowed to have experiences. Everything else is stupid.
Mhm. So in other words, when you're living everyday busy life and have so much hectic stuff in your life, this is how I take this. You can't see anything.
Yeah, and if you have ever been allowed to experience something that outstanding or whatever, you know, can say that word, phenomenal?
Phenomenal, yeah.
Phenomenal. The little everyday is crap, it's people crap, it's not even worth getting excited about.
No, you're right. But see, I had to learn the hard way. But at least I got to experience that journey before I came back, so I can separate those things. I'm still working on it, but it was easier when I was on the road.
The crop had got vandalized earlier in the year, last winter. Everything was wet on the inside. My insurance agent suggested I put in a claim. I didn't want to deal with it, but yeah, we put in a claim. A couple of months later, a man came out and took pictures of it. Then the insurance called and said, now, we talking about the crop head, the world famous crop head, the one with the crop circles on it on the back of the book. They notified me that they can't pay me because the crop is not insured. That I have a 1985 RV insured, and even at that, it wouldn't have been vandalized because they couldn't see the broken window. Well, in the meantime, you know, everything, I took care of all of that. But here's the thing. The crop has been insured since 1996.
Mhm.
If anybody needs insurance for a 1985 Dodge, it's on my policy. I don't know whose policy it is. The VIN number doesn't even match.
Wow,
How insane is that?
that's very insane.
So by the time this airs, I'm sure we got it straight. But here's all these bizarre things that normally you would become unglued over.
Yes,
Not relevant.
no.
Because they made it sound like I was trying to collect some money
But see, okay,
illegally, but you know what, they can give me back the premium, and that'll fix the RV.
can I talk about a quick experience I just
Sure.
had a couple days ago? Okay, well, I get child support, and I called support enforcement on their little recorded thing that, you know, it's a computer talking to you. I know that gets hassling for a lot of people. You know, they just need to pay people to work, to do this sort of thing. Computers have errors and glitches. But I asked, and they said, well, the computer said that on July 24th, they processed, which means it came from my daughter's father, a check of $642. So then I wait a couple days, and I call, and I call, and I call to reach my counselor, or I'm sorry, caseworker, which is supposed to deal with everything for you. She calls me back 4 days later and tells me, oh, well, we know it was sent out. I guess you reported stolen. And in the meantime, I have to go and do signatures, you know, and everything else. Like, I was a criminal. Until they find it, I don't get reimbursed. But then they do, what is it called? When you
Affidavit.
affidavit. And then I've got to sign another paper saying I'm willing to press charges upon the person that cashes the check, but I don't get anything until all of this process is done.
Yeah.
It's hectic, and stuff like that stresses you out in your life. But what can you do about it?
Yeah.
What can you do?
Yeah. So we really have we do have a lot of stresses, but in the big picture thing, it's really nothing. It's a learning experience.
Yeah, it is a learning experience. I should have got to the papers sent back off, so it went directly into my bank account. That's the lesson I learned from this one. Seriously,
Yeah.
that's the lesson I learned.
Well, what I've learned here recently is that when I have anybody coming through here for whatever reason, official or close to official, I'm going to have a witness.
I would. What happened?
I'll tell you later.
Okay, okay, okay.
Well, actually, go to the newsletter of August 2006. That's where you find it. You know, and so we have all these different things, but all in all, the trip. Give me a.
All in all, okay, there was parts of the trip that I was just wishing and praying, and I know she didn't feel that way. I know I was annoying her, but she's a better person than I am, where I wanted just to be back home. But then when my phone was off and nobody was calling or anything, we laughed, we giggled, we sang to Bob Marley the whole trip. It was fun. We got to meet people. Like I said, if I could afford to be on the road every single day, I think I'd just go around traveling, meeting different types of people. My interactions better.
The other thing I noticed, and this is really incredible, for a young person that has never, done anything like that.
Nope.
When eventually I looked at the footage, and you're looking at 13 hours of footage here, and we didn't edit, and I didn't edit anything. I gave it to you just the way it was. If we were feuding, and we were.
Yes, we were.
You could never tell.
That's good.
When you turn that camera on, it's like, oh, wow.
That's kind of another reason why I haven't looked at the tapes or pushed the issue, because I don't want to see me make an ass of myself. Excuse me.
We could say that
Okay,
right.
an ass.
Yeah.
Because I finally had the time to read her first book of her first journey and why the universe was taking her there and everything else. And she met a girl that they call May May. And I started reading more and I started realizing, oh my gosh, am I just like this girl? I don't want to be that way. I portray myself to be a nice person to everybody. But I'm starting to learn that I could be bossy or demeaning, and I need to work on that and tolerate things that I can't control. That's what I've learned from that trip too. That's what I've learned. And to be more compassionate of other people's faults. I don't know, like the lady at Bend restaurant. She was not paying attention to us because she was after the bigger dollar. She thought because of the way we looked. And instead of that, I got upset with her instead of just knowing that obviously she's ignorant.
I got upset with the woman at the hotel. Yeah, but see, and here again, we can never go by an appearance of things. So just as we thought we had a handle on everything, we leave Motel 6 in California, and this is a story you already know. I opened the front door, and here's this man. It's all scrunchy looking and everything, remember? And he said, do you like country western music? And I said, not really.
I remember this.
And he said, do you like 50s music? And I said, not really. And he said, do you know who Jerry Wallace is? And I said, not really. And he said, I saw your car there, and he said, I got some music you can use. Jerry Wallace.
Did you use it?
Of course.
Oh, was it wonderful? I didn't hear it.
Everybody loves it.
That's good then. But he just walked up. Yeah, I remember he just walked up out of the blue and said, here, you like, yeah, I remember you talking to him. Then he gave you some CDs.
Had my brain clicked, I would have said, come, we had the hotel room until, what, noon?
Yeah, noon.
In fact, we gave the room to some homeless children to sleep in until noon. I should have said, come on in, Mr. Wallace, a once-in-a-lifetime interview.
Yeah, that's true.
I blew it.
No, because like you've told me, everything happens for a reason. You're never lost. You're where you're supposed to be at the time. We weren't supposed to spend any more time because we went and got the rest of our experiences on the way home.
Yeah, and there was so much misery. Children that had no money, had nowhere to go, couldn't get a job.
Had medical problems with that.
Medical problems, and like I said, we left the room early with permission now. We allowed them to keep the room
till they checked out, actually, because then the manager, after talking to my Aunt Lilian, was telling her about the situation and everything, and that we were going to let the young girl stay there. And then the manager even offered to help this young girl out. So we all did what we could for her, but she still made her choices, so.
Yeah, people sleeping in the street.
Gotta live your own life.
Yeah, people sleeping in the street. Let's see, we got like 5 minutes. I'm gonna let you summarize the whole thing for me.
Okay, my summary of this trip was, I was excited yet nervous to go on the trip at first, because she likes the back roads. I like to get where I need to go when I go there. I'm a fidgety person. I gotta always be doing something busy. and she feels comfortable with her driving, which is okay, you know, the safer the better. So when I went into this trip, I was nervous and I was afraid of, because I love and respect her so much, that I was going to upset her or she was going to upset me, and it was going to ruin a good friendship. And then, so I went into there with that attitude, and then I was worried about the cameraing and stuff like this, because this is actually supposed to be professional for you viewers out there at home. I didn't want to miss anything. I was stressing over my family at home, if things were going to get worse while I was gone. But overall, when we were just traveling through the trees and watching how the scenery changes through the states and just the different type of people, it was very surreal and serene, I guess you might say, and very relaxing. Towards the end of the trip, we made a stop at the Sam Hill Museum.
Oh, yeah.
And it got close to reality for me again. And I noticed when we got there, I was like, gosh, all the reality was coming back, what I had to go to, and how am I going to do this? Can I even do this? I felt strong being out there on the road with her, but I didn't think I was going to be strong enough without her, or just by myself figuring it out. Even though she convinced me, you got it, just go with it. I actually talked about not wanting to live anymore at that museum. I broke down and I put her in a weird situation, because we're trying to go see this museum and it's supposed to be a happy place, you know, and a happy thing. And she had to be concerned about my feelings. So therefore, that's how the trip pretty much ended. We enjoyed the museum. We went up into the gypsy room, and we walked in there, and it had a funny smell to it, and it was on the very, very top of this museum. And it was so strong in there, you could feel it, but so strong that it knocked Lilian over. She felt like she couldn't breathe. We went downstairs to the Native American room, which really got my attention.
I'll show it to you.
There was an older lady in a photograph. She was an old Native American woman, and I kept on looking at the picture for some reason, and I'd walk to one side and her eyes would follow me, walk to the other side, her eyes would follow me. I was trying to get Lillian's attention. She was looking at another exhibit right around the corner, and another gentleman was behind me, and I'm like, do you see that? And he's like, yeah, she's watching you. And finally Aunt Lillian came over, and I was like, am I crazy? Is this really happening? And I started jumping from this side to this side, and she just kept following me.
Yeah, but
it's weird, because I seen a picture of her on the TV
yeah,
the other day.
we talked about that. Ebony, my granddaughter, and I went back to the museum, and we have actually talked about that, because it was the same thing when Ebony and I went.
Yeah, she followed you.
Yeah, now in the very short time remaining since you brought that up, sometimes we hit a point in our life where we don't think we can do anything. But then it goes up again, no?
Yeah, it went up for a while, but then something happened to where it threw me totally off track. I didn't want to talk to anybody on the phone. I have a problem with isolating myself, and that's why my number 9, October 9th birthday too. It says demeanor and bossy. And so when I finally took the time just for myself and go to bookstores and spiritual stuff and try to get it, then I'm starting to realize the negatives in me and how I can fix them.
But had it not been for the trip, and I'm grasping at straws here, had it not been for the trip, would you have been, and we don't have to tell what it was, would you have been able to handle the next phase of your life?
Nope, sure wouldn't have. And no, I wouldn't have. I would have lost it. I was at the verge. I came to you, I kept talking to you about stuff, wanting help. And then the trip came up, so the journey came up, you know, and that was going to help me, because that's another reason why you said you invited me before I even became the sponsor of the trip. You
That's
invited
totally,
me to help me out with, because you said you got to get this out, that out, whatever, focus on yourself for a change. And I used to tell you, oh yeah, I'm focusing on myself, but how can I focus on myself?
Oops, that scared us. That's our buzzer. We're at the end of the show, so real quick, so how you focus yourself now?
I take time out for myself.
Take time out for yourself. We're at the end of the show. Thank you for sticking with us for 14 weeks of Roadrunner.
Roadrunner was fun. Hopefully you guys can make that trip soon.
Okay.
Summertime, not winter.
Yeah, not good. We'll see you next week. I don't know what's next week, but we will see you with another exciting show next week.
Bye.
Bye.
That was fun. Thank you.
So young, like to thank you for all the fun you took us here. Take us there We've had some Lilian, Miss Lilian, like to thank you for all the fun. Take us here, and you take us there. And it is just because you really care.